I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Quest series, so when it was announced back in May of 2021 during the Dragon Quest 35th anniversary special that they were making a full HD2D remaster of Dragon Quest III, I was pumped. I had never played Dragon Quest III, and the remake looked absolutely amazing. It was in November of 2024, over 3 years later, that the game was actually released, and it was well worth the wait. Dragon Quest III HD2D Remake is probably my favorite game released in the last decade, so when it was announced that they would be completing the rest of the Erdrick trilogy with a remaster of Dragon Quest I and II together, I was beyond excited. I'm eagerly awaiting the release of Dragon Quest I and II HD2D Remaster, but I also have a few concerns about how the game will be accepted. Today I'll be covering those concerns while also talking about some of the things that I'm looking forward to in the game, as well as my thoughts on Dragon Quest and the HD2D remasters in general. I'm Metasly, and these are my thoughts. Where do I even start when discussing one of my all-time favorite game series? I didn't actually even grow up playing Dragon Quest. I only started playing it about 5 or so years ago when my brother-in-law introduced me to Dragon Quest VIII, and I instantly loved the series. The charming monsters, the lovable characters, the overall challenge of the game, and those perfect puns all were enough to hook me instantly and catapult Dragon Quest towards the top of my list of all-time favorite games. I had to play more of the series, so naturally I went to the most recent mainline release, which was Dragon Quest XI, and this game is yet another masterpiece and further deepened my love for the series. Since then, I've decided to collect every Dragon Quest game in the series, which is a slow process given that some of the games are pretty expensive. But that's okay, I'll get them eventually. I've been playing games my whole life and been actively collecting them for over a decade, so even if it takes a while, I think I'll still enjoy the process. While I've been keeping my eye out for good deals on the older Dragon Quest games, I've also been anticipating any new releases. It was announced during the Dragon Quest 35th anniversary special back in May of 2021 that Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate, was in development, and I was super excited. We haven't got many updates as to the production or the projected release date of this game, but I am eagerly waiting for more information and to see what direction the series goes in. While a lot of the attention from the 35th anniversary special probably went to Dragon Quest XII, there was another announcement that I immediately was stoked for. That announcement was for Dragon Quest III HD2D Remake. I had never played Dragon Quest III, but my love of the series along with my love of retro games made this particular announcement stand out to me. It was a long wait for the game to come out, and I could find very little information about the game or its release online, only that it was coming sometime eventually. I felt like I was the only person excited for the game, and I really hoped that the project didn't fall by the wayside and never end up being completed. As you can imagine, I was ecstatic when we finally got new updates and trailers for the game, as well as a release date of November 14th, 2024. I couldn't wait for this game to come out. While I was eagerly awaiting the release, I found out that there was a collector's edition, and I had to have it. The collector's edition was pretty controversial though. The general consensus was that it was too expensive for what you would actually get, and I have to admit that I considered canceling my pre-order a couple of times. It was $200, and it came with the standard copy of the game, a storage box that looks like one of the books from the game, a set of acrylic figures for a bunch of the characters in the game, and then some download codes for some digital items and some wallpapers. I in no way regret buying the collector's edition, but they could have at least included a steelbook for the game. It may not have had a steelbook, but inside the storage book was a slot to store the new game that you just bought, but not only that, there was a second slot for another game. This immediately gave it away, at least in my mind, that they were planning to remake the first two games and complete the Erdrick trilogy. I was immediately excited and kept the anticipation in the back of my mind, while in the meantime, I had Dragon Quest III to play. And what an experience it was. Having never played the original version on the NES or the remake on the Game Boy Color, I didn't really know what to expect from the game outside of it being a Dragon Quest game. I was surprised at how modern the game really felt. I mean, I know it's a remake, but the entire game felt fresh and modern while still holding on to that retro charm. I personally think that the HD2D Remake is a great entry point for anyone looking to explore the series, and that opinion seems to be reflected in the sales numbers given that over 2 million copies of the game have already sold. I have some concerns though about how well the upcoming Dragon Quest I and II Remake will perform. I love the collector's edition for Dragon Quest III Remake, but given that there's already an extra slot in the storage book for the Dragon Quest I and II Remake, I'm not sure if they're even planning to do another collector's edition this time around. I would love to see a collector's edition with a steelbook or a statue or something like that, but given that they didn't do a steelbook last time, I kind of doubt that they're going to do it this time. I also don't think they'll be doing a statue of the main character or anything, since there are 2 games in the remake, so they'd have to just use the main character from a single one of the games. I really hope they make something for us collectors and Dragon Quest fans, but I have my doubts. I also have some concerns about the game itself. Remember how I said that the Dragon Quest III remake felt very modern? Well, I think the first 2 games games are going to take a little bit more work to make them feel modern. I love the first two games and they were pioneers of their time, but because of that, they lack a little bit of the luster that the later Dragon Quest games have. For instance, the first Dragon Quest game doesn't even have a party, and Dragon Quest II only had 3 party members originally. I think one of the things that Dragon Quest fans love and keep returning to the series for is the lovable cast of party members in each game, but Dragon Quest I doesn't have that. This by no means makes it a bad game, but I'm concerned that it may catch some players off guard. Something else that players might be caught off guard by is how short the games are. According to howlongtobeat.com, Dragon Quest I can be completed in 10 hours or less, and Dragon Quest II is only around 18 hours long. Once again, this doesn't make them bad games by any means, but I think a lot of players have grown accustomed to the Dragon Quest games having a lot longer of an experience per game. I put about 85 hours into Dragon Quest III Remake, getting 100% and everything, and I could have easily put in another 85 and been perfectly happy to keep playing. I'm a bit concerned that players coming directly from Dragon Quest III Remake to this new remake may be a little bit disappointed. Thankfully though, it looks like they're trying to address this concern. In the most recent trailer, they teased a new character that's been added, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of other additions too. It will be interesting to see how much they add to the games to make them feel modern, while also hopefully staying true to the original game. They did a great job with Dragon Quest III, so hopefully they will this time around too. While I have a few concerns about how the upcoming remake will be accepted, I am still extremely excited. I'll definitely be picking up the game and watching out for any news of a collector's edition. Are you guys excited for this game? Are you planning on picking it up, or do you share any of my concerns about the release? Let me know in the comments if you do. Also, let me know if you've enjoyed this video by hitting the like button, and if you want more RPG and collecting content, go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date on all of my future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.